The following tag team contest is scheduled for one fall. On the way to the ring, the World Tag Team Champions from Nashville, Tennessee, weighing in at 282 pounds, Lance Cade. From St. Louis, Missouri, weighing in at 245 pounds, Randy Orton.
Hey, nothing you can say, nothing's gonna change what you've done to me. Now it's time to shine, I'm gonna take what's mine. Take what's mine. Hey, nothing you can say, nothing's gonna change what you've done.
From West Newbury, Massachusetts, weighing in at 248 pounds, John Cena.
Cade has impressed me from the first day he showed up on Raw. Wow, there's a hole you don't want to find yourself in, JR.
You sure don't, King. We've seen many a superstar tap out to this one.
You got to respect the commitment and the dedication of these superstars to their careers.
No question about it, King. Every superstar on the roster has had to make more sacrifices than any other professional athlete I know.
It really is like being married to your career. There's not much room for anything else.
And marriage is a subject which you happen to be something of an authority. Isn't that right, King?
Come on now, JR. A man doesn't know what true happiness is and...
What a submission hold! Could this be a tap out?
It isn't. The hold can't be broken. You can't take this kind of pain for long. Watch out! He reversed it.
What a reversal. I think this crowd's giving these superstars a piece of their minds, King.
Are you sure they can afford it, JR? There's the reversal. These fans can't stand it when he does this, JR, but I think it's great.
He's sure not going to win over any fans with that move, but I don't think that bothers him too much, quite frankly.
They got the tag.
A textbook reversal there.
I think I know who's gonna... Uh-oh! Talk about a hole you don't want to find yourself in.
No kidding! This'll rearrange your anatomy.
Did you ever think you'd be watching these superstars compete against each other here tonight, JR?
I had a feeling their paths are going to cross sooner or later, and I'm glad I'm here to see it.
Me too. It almost makes it worth having to sit next to you and listen to those corny expressions of yours. What the heck is a government mule anyway?
It's what you get beat right. We're in the middle of a slobber knock. And if you don't have the guts to stick around, you might run like a scalded dog with a case of the liver tape.
All right, enough! I'm getting a translator before I have to come out here with you again.
This is a classic matchup, King. I'm so glad the WWE fans are getting the chance to see it.
Yeah, I'm happy that I'm getting to see it too, JR. I just wish they'd pick up the pace a little.
Oh no, this is classic old-school wrestling at its finest. You, of all people, should be able to appreciate that, King.
Wait a minute, JR. You're not trying to say that I'm old, are you?
Of course not, King. Although there was that rumor going around about your social security number was 1.
I think these superstars are getting some feedback from the crowd, JR.
Nothing wrong with that, King. That's what we like to hear.
He countered that one perfectly. You know, JR, when I saw this match on paper, I wasn't too sure about it. But it's turned out a lot better than I thought it would.
I'm not at all surprised, King. I knew this was going to be a terrific matchup.
Oh, come on, JR. You're just talking through your hat. And speaking of hats, when are you going to get rid of that silly...
Look at the confidence radiating off this superstar.
All I see is an overconfident superstar who's throwing away the match by not following up. I don't care how tough you are, JR. No one can take this kind of pain for long.
You're absolutely right, King. We've seen many superstars tap out to this very hole. It's hard for me to watch Trevor Murdoch, and I'm not just talking about that ugly mug of his. And now he's bringing in his partner.
Oh, boy. These fans have got something on their minds, JR.
Well, they paid for their tickets, King, and they've got a right to say whatever they want. You're not going to get him with that one.
You talk about ruthless aggression. Look at the way these superstars have been going after each other.
They're not playing with kid gloves, that's for sure.
We knew we were going to see a heck of a match, but this might turn out to be... No. Don't say it, JR.
All right, I will. I think this one's got all the makings of a bona fide slobber knocker. Cade has certainly proven himself as a single star, but you can't forget his tag team prowess either.
I'm surprised you didn't bring yourself to say something nice about him, JR.
The tag is made.
He turned the tables on his opponent with that one.
There aren't many superstars as diversely talented as John Cena. He's as good in the ring as he is. He's got that submission hold locked in.
He sure does, JR. He might make his opponent tap out right here.
This capacity crowd is making their opinions known tonight.
They sure are, JR, and I love to hear it.
I tell you, King, sometimes I get exhausted just watching these superstars compete.
I know what you mean, JR. I don't think most people appreciate what incredible athletes these WWE superstars really are.
You've got to have some excellent conditioning to be able to do what they do.
Well, that's the name of the game, JR. You got to keep moving. No dog ever peed on a moving car.
Oh, that's a lovely image, King. I'd ask you where you come up with this stuff, but I don't think I want to know, quite frankly.
I'd ask you who you want to win this matchup, JR, but it's been pretty obvious since the start of the show who you're pulling for.
I'm trying to remain as objective as I can, King. Quite frankly, I'd rather see a good competitive matchup than see a particular superstar win or lose this thing.
Oh, come on. Everyone knows you play favorites. You're all flat on your back with your shoulders on the mat. There's no place to be. Listen to the crowd, JR. I think they've got something to say to these superstars.
And if they're smart, they'll listen. Remember, without these fans, these superstars are out of a job. The submission has been expertly applied, and now it's just a matter of time.
That's right, JR. You've either got to break the hold or get broken by it.
The submission is locked in. This could be huge.
Oh my gosh, JR. You can't go long without tapping out to this. It looks like they've slowed the match down a little, and I think that's some good strategy right now.
Would you look at that? A blatantly ill... We all know what's coming next.
He's going for the pin! Man, talk about ugly. Trevor Murdoch looks like he ran the 100-yard dash in a 90-yard gym.
Well, that rascal's not much to look at, that's for sure. But there's nothing uglier about this man than his personality. I've never seen such a sour puss.
I think that all goes back to his childhood, JR. I hear that when he was a baby, they had to...
If there's the submission, there might not be any way out of it.
There better be, but we're going to see a tap out right here.
Sounds like this crowd's got something on their minds, King.
Who cares about them, JR? Look what's going on in the ring.
I'm not his biggest fan, King, but I've got to give Lance Cade his due. He's a big, tough kid, a tough competitor, and someone you can't afford to take lightly.
Well, I'm glad you can overlook your personal biases and recognize that, JR. I've always been a big fan of his, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him pick up the win here tonight.
Did you see that? Ring the damn bell! You can't let somebody get away with that!
I don't think the ref saw it, JR. And if the ref doesn't see it, it's not illegal. I've been looking forward to this match all night, JR. I can't believe it's finally underway.
This has been a hotly anticipated contest. And as far as I'm concerned, it's living up to the hype.
No question about that, JR. The fans certainly seem to be into it, that's for sure.
And when it comes down to it, that's all that matters. There's the tag. That's the way to do it.
Boy, this John Cena is his own biggest fan. Look at the fans, JR. They know what's coming next.
They sure do. And there it is. The FU. What an impact. I think this crowd has decided to exercise the right of free speech.
God bless the first of... He's going for the cover, JR. Well, from the looks of things, it's not hard to tell how this one's going to go.
What are you talking about, King? I think this is still an extreme. Can his opponent kick out of this pinning predicament? No! No! How can the referee allow something like that?
Come on, JR. You know that the referee's health plan doesn't include vision.